There are 7.99 billion people in the world right now. And for each person, 96% of their efforts towards personal development failed because they never created a habit to work towards their mindset. And a habit becomes easier if you make it easier to access. So by hitting the subscribe button, you'll not only be creating a habit to think better, perform on a higher level, and be more confident, it also means the world to me by helping us make more valuable and life changing content for the world. Hit the subscribe button.
You put me on this platform to tell the truth. Speak to me when I be speaking to the youth.
So Leo, my guy, how you doing today, man?
What's up, Oliver? How are you, man?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Everything all right with you?
Everything's great. It's an honor to be here on your podcast.
Definitely, definitely, and I'm glad to have the honor to be on your podcast too as well.
Thank you.
This past Friday, right?
Yep.
This past Friday. So I want to start off. I usually don't like starting off like, hey, tell the people who you are, what you do, things like that, because they're gonna get a rough idea of who you are with how we do our intro. But I just want to ask you, what is the best part about being you, man?
What's the best part about being me?
Yeah.
What a great question. Man, I love being me. I feel like there's a ton of cool things about being me. I'm gonna start off by I'm 6'5".
Yeah.
I
I felt it when I first met you, man.
Just that part of me is
Yeah.
super cool. I see the world from a whole different perspective.
Mhm.
I am someone who's multicultural. I have a decent-sized family. I have 2 beautiful kids. I have a wife that we've been married for about 8 years now. I think the best part about being me is the fact that I've been so blessed in my life. I've been given so many chances to succeed, and I've taken all of them.
Really?
I think the best part about being me is that I've never been afraid or scared to walk through the unknown. I've always embraced it. I've always wanted to walk that path. I've always wanted to walk through that dark tunnel.
Even when you was younger?
Even when I was younger.
Really? So walk us through,
Yeah.
because many times it takes people. Sometimes it takes people to like that transition of going through a traumatic event to be able to muster up that courage to do that and walk through the unknown. Did you have something like that growing up, or like what led you to just think like that always, or were you just like born that way?
I was just curious, just born that way.
Yeah.
So I came to America when I was 7 years old.
Uh-huh.
And
Really?
yeah,
From where?
from Brazil.
Brazil.
I was
Okay.
born in Brazil, lived there till I was 7 years old. In 1995, my family and I immigrated to Queens, New York. And just that right there, right? Like, it's a scary process, My parents picked up their entire family and moved it to a whole new country, whole new expectations, whole new language, whole new everything, right?
So you didn't learn English, or
I learned English here.
wow.
Didn't know a lick of English when I got here.
It doesn't even sound like it, because most people would have that accent, that thick
It's
accent.
because I was so young. I was 7 years old.
Really?
So I got alphabetized in Brazil and in America. So I was blessed to get both of those foundations.
Got you.
Right? And just being in America, I was always so curious. I've always wanted to learn and know and adapt, right? And really be that American boy.
Really?
I've always strived for that. So growing up, it was Boy Meets World. It was Saved by the Bell.
That's true.
All these shows that
Yeah.
made me want to be American. It made me want to go to a high school like that and have those kind of friends and be a jock and be an athlete.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, you was 6'5". I know you. I'm 6'4", 6'5". I know you have the build for it, so that's not bad.
But you know what? I was always very skinny.
Really?
Yeah. I was always very, 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 very skinny. Like, I was like 6'1" at 13.
Damn.
But I was like 110 pounds.
Damn.
120 pounds. Yeah, I was super skinny.
Wow. I mean, I was lighter than you because I was like 5 feet. I was half the size, but I think I was like around 90 something. But I get it.
Yeah, I was super skinny. So I did karate most of my life. I'm a first degree black belt in Kyokushin karate.
Really?
Yeah.
I just did jujitsu. Jujitsu was probably one of my funnest sports that I ever participated in.
Yeah.
That and gymnastics that I've done recently.
Very cool.
Yeah.
How'd you like gymnastics?
I'm not gonna lie. I felt more I won with my body, bro. Because you ever had that feeling where you want to do a backflip, but you're not really conscious of that flip. You just do it off of instinct.
Right.
I did gymnastics, so I can be kind of conscious of my body during certain movements, and
Very
it caused me
interesting.
to just be more at one. And I feel like my depth of view changed in a sense. Like it felt weird for me because
Right.
I did a backflip, but I did a proper backflip. I had the guidance, had the coaching, and everything. Learned the structure. My shoulders were sore as hell the next day
bet.
afterwards, but it was having those different experiences was different, eye-opening, and I know I had the pleasure to talk to you about that when I went to Mexico. But
Yep.
I wanted to ask you, have you ever had anything like that to kind of open up your eyes or your perception, on top of, walking through the valley and then not fearing anything in that sense?
I think that's the beauty of life, right? I think we all have those moments. And I think what helps us grow and evolve is us embracing and learning from those moments, right? I've had many of those moments. My mom had cancer. I was very young. She almost died. Yeah. Several incidents like that, we grew up very, very poor. We grew up very humble beginnings, I never had much. All my friends had everything: cars, homes, the toys, the computers. I had nothing. I had to really work for it. And I really had to get to a point where I got to like 16, 17 years old. And I was like, all right, I need a job. I need to get my license. Right? I need to go do for myself. I need to go figure this stuff out on my own. And I think just that struggle of having to figure out America, of having to adapt, of having to figure out where I fit in within this, big jambalaya. I think all of those lessons helped me be who I am today.
Did you ever feel lost out of all this mess and this journey on life to get to where you are now?
100%. My late teens, I got into some bad drugs, and I was depressed. I was lonely. I was lost. I couldn't really understand my path or life or where I was going or where life wanted me to go. I was unaligned. I was disconnected from God, from my family, from my body. I was abusing myself with different substances. And it was a recipe for disaster. And go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say it was a downward spiral, which just kept going deeper and deeper and deeper.
So what?
And eventually, I got to a point where I met a few people who helped me pull me out.
Okay, and that's what I was getting to. So was it those people that helped you get out of it, or because I had the pleasure to know that you help people and coach people to get out of the same type of hole.
Exactly.
So what was your system or process that you've learned either being with those people or you learned from your own experiences to the point where you're able to put it into a coaching program and things of that nature and to help other people? Like, what was your process?
It's really all about reframing, right? Everyone lives in their little box and their little frame, right? And that's where our beliefs, our culture, what our parents want us to believe, we all put in that box, right? And we label that as who we are. It's all about breaking free from that frame and understanding that you can build a new frame, that you're not stuck to this perception that you view as your life, right? You can change it. You can modify it. You can break free out of this box and make a new frame for yourself that suits you and fits you, who you want to be, and your new lifestyle.
So what causes people to, from what you've seen, to stay in that box or to even create that box without them even creating it, because other people are creating that box for them? What causes people to be in that type of situation?
The number one thing I've seen is fear and anxiety. A lot of people are scared of growth. A lot of people are scared to change. They are scared of the uncomfortable. They don't want to grow, right? So if you are within the 20% of your level, you get really comfortable because all the 80% are trying to get to where you are at the 20%.
Say that again. I like that. Say that one more time.
when you are at the 20%, 20% being on top, right? When you're the top 20% of your level, you get comfortable.
Wow, the top 20. How is that possible? Because
for example,
so much more.
Right. If you're someone that, you make decent money, you make between 80 and 100K a year, you have a good life, you pay your bills, you go on vacation once a year, you get cozy, you get comfortable, right?
Yeah.
For you to go to that next gear, that next level, you must start at the 20% of the bottom 20% of the next level. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
so you are at the top 20% of your level.
Yeah.
And then there's the next level.
Yeah.
For you to go to that next level, for you to discover that new level, you must start at the bottom 20% of that new level.
So how can people
And that level's hard, right? When you're starting a new level, it's just like playing video games.
Yeah.
When you're first starting that new level, it's challenging. It's very hard. But then you die a few times, and then you learn the level, and you start playing better, right?
Yeah.
And that's what people don't want to go through, is that death process.
I like the way you put it like that.
For you to evolve and grow, you must die and be reborn.
Yeah, and then in that process of dying and you learning that level, you learn what are your issues.
Correct.
And that led me to think, and this is where pretty much where I want to go for the podcast is like, because you said one thing to me when when I was on your podcast. You said that you pretty much reduced everything in your life that causes instant gratification. Because many times the reason why people feel comfortable is because they got all these things that are instantly gratifying them, and they're not in it for the long term. When you're learning a new level, you're in it for the long run. Like
exactly.
You said, the death process to figure it out, to then beat the level, but it's a long process till you beat the level.
For
if you
sure.
go through that process.
100%.
So
you're gonna die a bunch of times before you beat that level.
Definitely. So what was your process for getting rid of instant gratification? Like, how did you rewire your mind? Because sometimes I deal with that, from social media to entertainment to TV shows, you name it, whatever causes instant gratification. What was your process to reducing to the point where everything you have is for the long run?
So it's a process. I'm not gonna lie. But it starts with you setting out your goals, creating your goals. It starts with having the end goal in mind, okay? Once you do that, you then can reverse engineer and design your path of how you're going to get to that end goal.
So,
okay?
So how about, before you move forward on the process, how about for those people that don't even have goals? Because I asked a good friend of mine this question, hey, what are your personal growth goals? He just said, just going day by day, man. Like, I can imagine having goals is not just going, it's not doing things day by day. You have to have a plan. Like, what can you say to those people that don't have a goal or had never really done anything like that? Because many times when I ask people those questions, they get turned off because it remind them of their parents. Oh, you got to do this. You need to focus on that. You need to focus on that.
Right.
How can somebody get over that mental hurdle so now they can create goals and continue with the process that you was about to share with us?
So people like that, you got to start at the foundational level.
Okay.
What is your truth?
Okay.
Where are you now? Are you comfortable with where you are now? How do you feel about where you are right now? Got to start there.
Got you.
Let's get those foundational questions answered.
Got you.
Where are you? Are you happy with where you are? How do you feel about where you are? Let them answer.
Got you.
Let them cook.
Okay.
Right? If they're happy where they are, so be it. You're happy. They're not ready to grow.
You will be ready to grow when you're not happy. Okay. All right.
When you're not happy, then you can grow.
Okay.
You need to have a level of disgust with where you are in life in order for you to grow.
I like that. Yeah.
Otherwise, change won't happen. You'll keep repeating the cycle over and over again until you get disgusted with yourself. Like, ugh, I am so tired of doing that. It's just disgusting. I'm tired of it. I don't want to be that person anymore. Then you'll grow.
So where would that mindset be on you not feeling happy, but you're content with where you are now. Like you're
Yeah.
content. Like
Yeah.
would that also be a form of, you know, complacency? Like
For
how
sure.
you're saying, like if you're just content with where you are right
Oh,
now,
yeah.
not necessarily happy. Like you know, you should be chasing for more. You know, you should be doing this. You should be doing that.
Right.
But it's not really that happiness that's just keeping you stagnant. But you're content. Like would those two things be the same thing? Like you would just have to be in disgust to grow, pretty much.
Of course.
Wow.
I feel like you need to have something that motivates you, something that drives you.
Okay.
And that can be disgust.
Okay.
You know, it could also be fear. It could also be proving somebody wrong,
Yeah.
right? But you, if you are so comfortable that you are allowing yourself to get unaligned by becoming overweight, by you no longer talking to God, by you no longer getting raises in your business, by you no longer progressing, by you no longer growing, if you're getting to that point where you're that stagnant, a change needs to occur,
Okay.
right?
I like that.
Otherwise, you're just going to keep being the same person every 10 years. No difference.
Damn. I like the way you put it like that.
You know?
Yeah.
Have you seen those people? Every
Yeah.
10 years, they're the same people.
Yeah,
They're
and
the
they-
same person.
and they expect-
No growth. Nothing changed. It's like, what are you doing? But we need those people in the world. It motivates me. Those people motivate me.
Damn.
You don't want it? Fine. I want it.
That's badass. I'm
I'm going to go
lie.
after it.
Yeah.
So to go back to what we were saying earlier, everything's about sacrifice,
Got you.
okay?
So is that the next part of the process after you create your goals? The next part of sacrifice, or
Correct. Everything's about sacrifice. End goal in mind, you reverse engineer, right? How to go from the how to go to the end with the end goal in mind, right?
Yeah.
And then you create your strategies of how you're gonna get there.
yeah.
You need to make sure that you reward yourself after you complete every single task of that journey.
It can even,
That's how you build
Ooh.
that delayed gratification within you.
So would you reward yourself after a good day's work in a sense?
No. For example, you'll create different tasks throughout the journey, right? One task may include numerous things underneath it.
Okay.
Once you complete that task, you reward yourself.
Got you. So not for the individual things within that task.
Correct.
Got you. So
After
if
the
it-
whole thing's done.
So if your task
After step one is done. Step one could be A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
Okay.
Once step one is done, you reward yourself. Then you go to step two. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Once that's done, you reward yourself. And you
Got
keep
you.
going.
Got you. So
Right?
So to put it into perspective, so use myself. So my goal is to get rid of my fitness goals is to get rid of my shoulder spikes.
Okay?
So you're saying just because I went to the gym every day this week doesn't mean I can reward myself. It's until I get rid of these, that's when you really reward yourself.
Exactly.
Got you. Okay.
If you
Like
want to
that.
get even more granular, you would take a measuring tape and measure your shoulder.
Got you.
What's the size now? How big do I want it to be?
Got you.
I'll reward myself once I get to that number.
Got you. Not because you went to the gym the first week.
Exactly.
Yeah. Got
exactly.
you. Okay. So
that's the difference in
Okay.
delayed and instant.
Got you. So I can attest that I was falling into instant gratification and placing seeds because after not after a 4 days work, maybe after 1 or 2 days, I've been really good and consistent. I'll be like, you know what, I can do this, I can do that, but I have to achieve the full task. I like that.
Right.
So what is it? What is the next part after sacrifice? Is that pretty much it?
Stay disciplined. Right, which is part of the sacrifice,
Got you.
which is staying consistent.
Yeah.
You know, doing what you say that you're gonna do.
Yeah.
Meet those deadlines.
Yeah.
Right. Don't cheat. Don't cheat yourself because you're only cheating yourself. You're not cheating anybody else. You know, this is really what Jesus was trying to teach us about sacrifice. He sacrificed everything to show us that life is about sacrifice.
Yeah.
Life is not about giving into pleasure. It's not about giving into your wants and needs.
Yeah. All those things.
It's
are
about you
vanity.
being disciplined and sacrificed. He died in the cross to show us that for us to grow and evolve, we must die and be reborn. People do not want to go through that process. It's painful. It hurts.
So, what would you say is the next step once you get rid of instant gratification? Because, amongst all this chasing success, you feel disgusted, you want that next level, you're grinding. What are some of the mistakes two-part question. What are some of the mistakes that some people can make on like chasing this grind, getting rid of all these instant gratifications? How can that affect the family, along that type of mindset? And two is, well, I'll let you answer that first one first.
I think people get too unbalanced chasing, grinding, right? There's got to be a balance between your body, between your family, between God and your business.
So describe balance.
You need to make sure that you are dedicating enough time to each.
Okay.
You need to make sure that you are fostering and you are watering each.
Got you.
Don't allow one of the 4 pillars to get more water than the other 3.
But wouldn't you consider that spreading yourself thin? Because because when I my thought process on balance is like, I don't know if I mentioned it to you on Friday, it's like a teeter-totter, where it's like, yes, you can balance things out, but how high, like, when you balance, one, sometimes it's going to be a cost where one has to be higher than the other, but then knowing when to swing that to the other side and balance it like that, would you consider it like that, or would from your explanation, is it just keeping everything even with each other?
So it's a balance within each of the 4 pillars. So, for example, okay, we live in a society where we have these beliefs that we gotta work 20 hours a week, 20 hours a day, 100 hours a week.
Dang, only 4 hours of sleep? That's crazy.
Right? Like, we have these crazy ideas that we gotta work, right?
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people who make money in their fucking sleep. Right? And people are stuck with this perception that you have to work for your money.
Okay.
And you get stuck in that.
Got you.
And you spend all your time in the office working.
Yeah.
And you neglect your family. And you neglect your body.
Yeah.
And you neglect God.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not saying that you got to dedicate 8 hours.
Okay.
That's not what I'm saying.
All right.
What I'm saying is that each one of the pillars has a required need from you.
Got you.
Okay? For God, it could be a prayer a day, 2 prayers a day, a meditation session, going to church on Sunday.
Yeah.
That's God's requirement of you,
Yeah.
right? Your family may be date night with your wife once a week, right? Going to the park with your kids, putting your kids to bed every night,
Yeah.
right? Feeding your kids, playing with them, whatever that may be. It could be a couple hours a day,
Yeah.
right? Your body. How are you nourishing your body? Are you going to the gym? Are you working out?
Yeah.
If you're over 30, if you're not making muscle, you're losing muscle.
Really? Over 30?
Yeah, over 30.
That's when it starts?
That's when it starts.
Damn.
Which is why you see a lot of older gentlemen who are very weak and frail, and their back starts to hunch when they get to their 60s and 70s.
Yeah.
Because they stopped building muscle.
Wow.
So their body caves in.
Wow.
So if you're over 30, if you're not making muscle, you're losing muscle.
Got you. So everything has its own required need.
Correct. You don't got to go to the gym 7 days a week. Go 3-4 times a week, an hour a day, right? Like, that's the requirement to keep your body pillar within balanced, right? And your work 10 hours a day, work 8 hours a day, right? Don't kill yourself. Find a balance so you have enough time to sleep and the other 3.
Yeah, many times people, like even myself, I found myself where I was working day in and day out and even into 10, 12 p.m. And it's like, yo, I have an evening routine. Why the hell am I working this long when I could be setting myself up for tomorrow? When I could be doing this with my family, could be doing this. Like, and one thing that I learned in real estate was there's no real estate emergency. Like, just because somebody called you telling you there's an emergency, no, it's not.
Does
really
not
an
make it
emergency.
one.
They want
Exactly.
you to move on their time.
Right.
So I treated like that. I treated that with anything and everything. Granted, there are some points in time where things are an emergency, and you
For
know
sure.
what those are.
For
You feel
sure.
me? But don't treat everything like an emergency. You have to get everything done today. I like. You have to have that balance. Now I
You
like
do.
the way that you put it.
You have to understand what each of the pillars require from you, and how much time is required for you to fulfill that task.
Gotcha. So the pillars is your personal needs.
It's
your
your
family,
it's your body.
body.
It's God. It's your
God,
family.
family,
It's your business.
business.
The 4 pillars.
Business. So you wouldn't include like a fifth one, like social life, like friends and things of that nature, or would it just be the 4?
I think those are external, outer pillars, but the 4 main pillars for a man is his body, his family, God, and his business.
I like that. So after you get rid of instant gratification, as you focus on working on balancing these pillars, from you teaching and guiding people, is that pretty much it? Is that pretty much like your answer to what is life? Or like
No. It's about coming into your truth.
really
It's about realizing where you are.
realizing
Yeah,
where you
a
are.
lot of people do not live in the now. They don't live in reality. They're too busy being anxious in the past. I'm sorry, anxious in the future, or no,
Yeah,
anxious in the past or worried about the future. Excuse
Okay,
me.
Got you.
Right? If you're anxious, your mind is. If you're anxious, your mind is in the past. If you're worried, your mind is in the future. Right? If you're in the now, your mind is right here present.
Yeah.
I'm right here with you.
Yeah.
I am not anxious. I am not worried. Right?
You're just still.
I'm
I
just
feel like
here
that's
with
one
you.
of the things Christ was talking about
Right.
with stillness. You have to
And
understand
most
all these
people
things.
are living concerned about what they did or what they're going to do.
Or the result that they can't even control.
Exactly.
Yeah. So how would you help people understand and realize
By coming to your truth,
as a,
realizing where you are now, what your truth is, what you can control, what you cannot control,
okay,
and how we're going to execute on what you can control.
got you. So for those anxious people, many times they focus on things that they can't control, or when one bad thing happens, it ruins their day. What advice would you give to them on like, on just like, because I've seen them try. Like, is it just I don't know if you mentioned it on Friday when we talked. Is it just literally just going through the growing pains of learning the process on how to like deal with it and not be worried anymore? Or is there like any advice that you can give them so they can just like pretty much nip it in the bud and just focus on being in the now?
I would say that this is where faith comes in.
Got you.
This is where believing in God comes in.
Got you.
When we try to control too much, we're not really believing in God or having faith in God.
When you try to control too much.
Mm-hmm.
So what is controlling? So as a businessman,
When you're trying to control what's not in your control, you're not having faith.
when you're trying to control what's not in your control.
You're not having faith.
So give me an example, because I was about to go on a tangent. Like, hey, would a businessman be somebody that's trying to control too much by having a schedule? Everything's rigid.
Let me give you an
everything's
example.
on that
Let me give you
line?
an example, okay?
Yeah.
I own a therapy agency for kids with autism
Oh,
based out of New
really?
York. Yeah.
Wow.
We do
That's nice.
in-home and in-school behavior modification for kids with autism. So recently, I just had an issue where I have a client. He is in the spectrum. He's about 14 years old, okay? And the requirement for him is to have a teacher who has some ABA therapy experience to be in the home with him.
ABA therapy, what is that?
Applied behavior analysis.
Gotcha.
It's a type of therapy that's used for kids with autism to help them modify their behaviors.
Gotcha.
So this therapist wanted a raise. That works for me. She wanted a raise. she was offered a job that was paying her X amount, and I was paying her less than that amount.
Yeah.
And she came to me and asked for a raise, and I gave her that raise. And she still wasn't happy.
Really?
She wanted more. She kept emailing my wife other salaries of what she thought her role was. And those were getting paid over $100,000. And my wife got very anxious. Is she going to take the role? Is she not going to take it? What's going on? Da-da-da. I go, sweetheart, we've done our part. What we can control, we've controlled.
We already did it. We already gave it a raise.
We gave her the raise.
Matched it, yeah.
We matched the offer. We even paid for her transportation. We did our part. We cannot worry about what she's going to decide. It's up to her now. Whatever she decides, she decides. I can't control her mind. I can't control her actions. If she's not going to take it, she's not going to take it. I'm not going to be anxious and lose sleep over it.
Yeah, I feel like
Nor am I going to stress myself out over it.
Yeah, I feel like many times
I will find a new employee. You
As
know?
simple as that. Yeah.
I will go higher.
Yeah.
You know? I'm not going to stress. But my wife gets very stressed. Oh, but the client loves this therapist and they work so well together. And if we lose her, the mom's not going to be happy. There's a way to solve everything.
Yeah. That's
all
true.
that panic energy does no one any good.
That's true. And
We can have a conversation with the mom. Mom, it didn't work out with this therapist. We're going to hire a new therapist. Please bear with us. We're going to find you the right match. It's all about conversation.
Yeah. And many times people don't want to have that conversation. Many times,
No, because they're scared.
Many times they want to do anything and everything that they know possible to try to get somebody to think one thing. But when it doesn't happen that way, that's when that anxiety hits. That's when that stress hits.
Right.
And it can be pretty crippling for some people.
For sure, because that anxiety can paralyze you. It can leave you in a state of panic.
Yeah.
I had a friend who was having a panic attack. And he didn't know why, didn't know how. I'm like, bro, you're stressed out. You're stressing over everything. You're stressing over every single little detail. I'm surprised that you haven't had a heart attack yet.
Damn.
Seriously.
That's real.
It's real.
That's real.
It's real.
I always never understood panic attacks. Like, how can what does that, God, I don't want a panic attack. I'm being honest.
It's the fear of something happening that you don't want to happen.
Wow.
That's really a panic attack. It's you, what's the word? You're
Hyperventilating.
You're expressing that fear in your body.
As if it was actually happening.
Correct.
Wow.
Like, you don't want this thing to happen. And you're freaking out that it's going to happen. Oh, my God, it's going to happen. It hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
But you're freaking out that it's going to happen.
And you're going through those emotions.
You go into full panic mode because you don't want that thing to happen. But you think it's going to happen. You think it's already happening. There's no control, nothing you can do to stop it. So you freak the fuck out. And you get into a panic state.
Damn.
And you hyperventilate. You lose air. You lose breath. You can't breathe.
Pass out.
I've
seen crazy.
Yeah, you can
panic
pass
attacks.
out.
Wow. Yo, that's crazy. So with all these things, what would you say is your recipe to, like, you mentioned finding your truth. You mentioned asking yourself all these questions, things of that nature. How would somebody, like, anxiety, depression, all these things, like, would you say the first step, if they don't know, then, like, the route to take is to find a coach, find a mentor, or like what would you say in that regards? Because I've seen people who go on YouTube, watch these things, practice these breaths, but it's still not working for them. What would you say to those people?
So I think the first step is making the decision to change. That's step one.
Gotcha.
You have to make that decision within you.
No, but
I choose to change.
but it.
Step 2, get a mentor.
Okay. Okay. Got you. So once you create the goals and all these things.
Well,
the
no,
next
no, no,
step-
no, no. No goals.
Oh, really?
No goals. You
Really?
just make the decision to change. You wake up and you're tired of your shit. You're tired of your life. You want something different. You have decided, I am going to make a change. I am going to be different. Done. Step 1, done.
Yeah.
Step 2, get a coach or a mentor. I would say get both. They're very different. A coach is someone who's going to be there step by step, coaching you and guiding you through the journey. A mentor is more of a higher level consultant. It's more someone that you go to exchange ideas, to have them pinpoint your flaws, to basically help them, for them to help you see things a different way. That's really a mentor.
Got you.
A coach is someone there coaching you every single day, helping you, guiding you to your goals. A mentor is higher level, helping you with questions and helping you see things differently or giving you a different point of view.
Yeah, a coach gives you that system, that step-by-step play, and
Exactly.
they guide you through. And
Exactly.
a mentor is one that kind of like once you know it and you find your flow, every now and then you would meet, and I see, I get it, I get it. So and then what's after?
Keep sharpening that knife, you know?
And then what's after that? Is it like a step 3?
Well, so depending on which way you want to go,
Yeah.
right? That coach will create the next steps with you.
Got you.
Which step 3 would be end goal in mind, reverse engineer, figure out your steps, and execute.
Got you. So I wanna ask you this question. You know, as we wrap up these things, and I kind of want to get into your mind a little bit. Want to know, what is your perspective on success for you?
My perspective on success for me, meaning what I define as success for me.
Yeah, like when you hear the word success, what does it mean for you, and how would you achieve success?
Success to me means freedom. That's really what everyone's after, right? People want the money, not really because they want the money, but because the money gives you freedom. Money gives you freedom and power to do what you want and to control your own time, to make your own decisions.
But how can you want to be like for those people that are comfortable at that 20%?
Uh-huh.
And I just want to get in your mind a little bit.
Yep.
How can somebody want to be free if they don't know what to do with that freedom?
So this is where growing your mind comes in, right? I think I agree with you. Someone who's not at that vibrational level won't even know what freedom is.
Yeah, like
So someone like that, they got to start with the basics. Go read a book that's going to open up your mind. Go read a book that's going to teach you what that freedom is. Right?
Okay.
Start there.
Okay, got you.
Start
Got you.
educating yourself.
Got you. Yeah, because many times people find freedom in these lost things. Sometimes some people's way of feeling free is playing video games all day without stressing about anything else. So that's why I wanted to ask you that question. But you said first thing is read a book to open up your mind. Is that pretty much it?
Yes.
Got you.
Listen, if they want to go play video games all day, I'm cool with that. As long as they built a business first that brings money in, that gives them that freedom to go play video games all day.
Hey.
That's what you want to do?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
And we live in a world today where you got gamers making millions of dollars competing.
That's true.
You know, e-games is huge.
You want to take that? Yeah, that's true.
If we're going to go that route,
That's
so
true.
be it.
Yeah,
You know?
it's their life. Yeah.
As long as you make a plan, you have an end goal. Like, don't just play video games to kill time. If you're going to do it, go compete.
Okay.
Or if you want to kill time, make sure you build something first that's generating you money so you can have the time to go play fucking video games.
Yeah. Because you don't have to do anything else. Because now that's on a belt.
Yeah. Go
Gotcha.
build an e-commerce, an Amazon store.
Yeah, because you still have to sustain yourself. If you want to do that
Yeah.
and not have something to sustain yourself, it's like you get to that point where you're killing yourself. and you don't even realize it until it's too late.
Exactly.
Got you. So as far as success is, having that step and being free, is that it for you?
Success to me is being able to call your shots, have the freedom to do what you want, when you want, how you want it. That's success to me.
Amen. So I want to end it off with this last question, man. You have a little bit of age, you have a little bit of wisdom. At the end of the day, wisdom is timeless. What would be, excluding everything you say, chasing your truth, finding your passion, finding all these things, creating that step by step, having these goals, excluding all these things, what would you say, or what would be that golden advice that you would give to somebody?
Never quit. Never quit. Never quit. But at the same time, know when to quit. Meaning, if you have been pounding your head at something and it's just not working out for you, know when to quit. But don't quit overall. Look for a new way to try to accomplish that same task that you couldn't do. Right? For example, if you're trying to go through this wall and you keep using this tree to try to break through this wall and it's not working, give up on that and go get a hammer and try doing it with a hammer.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, not quit on the overall task that we was talking about, but just try to find a new method.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
Know when things aren't working out.
Got you. Know when to quit,
but don't quit on the overall goal. Shift and find a new way to get there.
I like that.
That's not quitting. That's not giving up.
I like
that. You
that.
see what I'm saying?
Quit on the method, not the idea.
Exactly. If something's not working for you, that's okay. You can put that aside, but try something else. Don't give up on that idea of accomplishing that task or that dream.
Okay. Even as you say that, it's kind of sparking up, like, all right, was there some areas where I quit on the idea because the method wasn't working?
Right, exactly.
Is there still time to go back to it, change the method?
100%.
I like that.
Yes.
I like that. Yo, Leo.
Thank you, my brother. I appreciate you.
Man.
Always
I appreciate you.
Fire episode.
Yo, you are one of the wisest 23-year-olds I've ever met. I gotta tell you.
Really?
Yeah. Props to you. Props to you having your podcast. Props to you having this kind of engagement where you've built a place where people can have these conversations and evolve and learn. Good for you, bro.
Yeah, it's all a process.
Respect.
And it started because I realized where I was and I realized what I needed. So, and I say this all the time, where I pretty much do these things and have these conversations with people as like my own digital journal. But it's a digital journal that I share with other people.
I love that.
Like if I post content, it's not because I'm sharing it with somebody and I don't do it. It's like I'm putting it out there. I have to put it in practice. I have to apply these things. I'm learning even in our conversations, like especially the instant gratification. Like I was literally watching a YouTube video this morning. Like, how can I kill instant gratification the way you killed instant gratification? So it's all a process, and it's just, I just want people to be included, man. I'm not gonna lie. Whether they join, whether they don't, I know somebody's gonna take it. Somebody's gonna receive from it. So
here's another tip to delay instant gratification. Okay.
Yeah.
You've heard this one before, but it's really true.
Got you.
Sleep on it. If you want something that bad, and if you sleep on it and you wake up and you still want it that badly the next day, go do it.
Wow. So put that into like an example.
So, for example, okay?
Like you go to the store, you want a Hershey bar, you sleep on it, you wake up, you still want it, you go buy it, or
great example, exactly.
Got you.
Exactly.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Sleep on it.
Sleep on it. If you really want it that badly the following day, then go do it and forget about it.
So would
But you have to train yourself, right? Train yourself.
Gotcha.
Always sleep on it. There will be many times where the next day you wake up and you don't want it anymore. And you let it go and you move on.
True.
Right?
But what would you say to those people that constantly sleep on it and they built the love or the desire or the connection to where when they sleep on it,
They wake up, they want it. Then they try to stop, or it comes to the point where it comes up again, and they sleep on it. They want it again, and they go through that repeated process of constantly wanting it. Would it come to a point where that, if it's like, say if it's for one specific thing, where it's like every day you want to get a Hershey bar, you sleep on it, you wake up, you buy them, you wake up, you buy them, you wake up, you buy them, but over time it's killing you, from sugar, from cavities to diabetes to all these things. What would you say to those people that when they constantly sleep on it, on one idea, but it's killing them, how to get rid of that so it doesn't sit and have like a deep root inside them?
What you're describing is an addiction.
Okay.
That's really what you describe. So that's next level,
All
right? For that, you're going to need a therapist. You're going to need therapy. You're going to need some form of counseling that's going to help you, guide you through your traumas, to help you release whatever that tension is that keeps you going back to this chocolate every single day.
Wow. Okay. I didn't ever think of it as an addiction.
Yeah, that's more an addiction.
Yeah.
Exactly what you're describing.
And many times people don't even see the addiction that they have.
No. They're so used to it, right? They're in their frame. That's all they know. So to them, it's normal. Oh, it's just a chocolate bar. It's just once a day.
Man, I've seen people,
Yeah.
whether it's chocolate or coffee, that
Whatever it may
adds
be.
up financially.
Yeah.
Man.
Right.
So that's fire, man. That's fire. I'm glad we ended up at
appreciate
that
you,
note,
Oliver.
man. Definitely, man.
Thank you, my brother.
Wait, before you go, make sure you hit the subscribe button and check out the video that you think is the best for you. Or is it check out the video and hit the subscribe button? Man, you know what I'm trying to do. Peace.